Covering news around the nation for you tonight. Still a dire situation in Puerto Rico, where it's been over a month since Hurricane Maria hit, but the majority of people living on the island are still without power. Many don't have access to running water. That's why they're in need of supplies and volunteers to help get them to the people that need those supplies most. KXOI4's Kelsey Morgan spoke to one Spokane man who just spent 3 weeks there.
That's right. Devin Viviano has volunteered in Zambia, Central America, and Malawi. But he calls his most recent humanitarian effort informative and uplifting.
Yeah, native Devin Viviano has a passion for exploring the world and helping others in the process.
Absolutely. I think it's my number one passion is trying to, one, experience the world for myself, and two, learn lessons that I can then bring back to my own community.
When Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, Devin acted fast.
We got down there on the ground as soon as possible, as soon as the airport opened up. So we landed about 6 days after the storm. The Red Cross immediately went into kind of action mode with trying to find out where the people needed the help the most.
Working 12-hour days, Devin and his team loaded up box trucks every morning with bottled water, canned goods, tarps, hand sanitizer, supplies we here might take for granted. They spent hours driving between villages, passing down power lines and destroyed homes along the way. And everywhere they went, hundreds of people were waiting.
But I couldn't believe how patient they were, not only with their situation, but waiting in line for hours and hours and hours.
Each person picking up supplies for their families at home.
A woman who showed up in line, and my friend was holding a bag of fruit, and she started crying because she saw the fruit. So then he started crying because she was crying about the fruit, and it was quite touching.
They came not only for themselves, but to make sure their neighbors got what they needed too.
They would show up and say, I lost the roof of my house, but I'm still able to help today. It was really quite remarkable.
The exhausting work made a little easier by the bright spirits and smiling faces of the people they were helping.
Every single day when you thought, oh, I can't do this anymore, you'd get out there and you'd start unloading the truck and you'd start meeting the people, and that energy, that adrenaline would just kick right back in, especially when you saw them, after all they've been through, helping out.
Life in Puerto Rico will never be quite the same as it was before, and the road to the new normal is a long one.
Because those are just the very, very first steps of getting some electricity back, getting some water back.
Devin says being a part of that recovery is a role we should all play. Because think about it this way, what if it were us? This idea of setting the standards really high for how we respond to these disasters, for their sake, but also for our own sake, because if the tables were turned and we were on the other end of it, what would we want?
The Red Cross is facing an unprecedented disaster season right now. They're working not just in Puerto Rico, but Texas, Florida, and California, to name a few. So check out your local Red Cross. Maybe you can't give 3 weeks of your time like Devin, but there are lots of other ways you can help. In studio tonight, Kelsey Morgan, KXOI4 News.